Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We're delighted to have you here. And today we're going to talk about a very interesting and relevant topic, which we started to discuss already, and I'm sure all of you are interested in. So the topic today is how to get ready for this kind of revolution in search rankings. As you know, today there are more tools and applications that people search with. And we're going to cover today how to prepare and how to adjust your website to be able to rank better on multiple platforms such as search engines and also on AI chat platform. And we'll cover today both what's happening in the market, and we'll also show you how to implement this automatically, semi-automatically, depending on how you want to do it. So let me just start by saying that today you can go into ChatGPT and ask any question you want, and basically sometimes it gives you just an answer, a textual answer, and sometimes it also gives you references. But the more you will appear on search results, the more you will be recognized as a provider of data that is relevant. And this is our objective. So today there is something that calls zero-click searches, which is basically a textual response to your query, as opposed to many links with many opportunities or a lot of data that you need to choose and select from. But it's kind of consolidating today. And what we're noticing is that the search that is based also in search engines and also in chat applications is more and more reliant on questions rather than just keywords. And additionally, search engines and chat apps, they want more structured data. The reason they want more structured data is because they want to be sure that what they see and what they read on the website or the content is accurate. And schema markup, something we will cover a little bit more in our webinar, is something that is very important and really very relevant to their confidence that the data is understandable and that they can present it in a structured way when they answer the response. So it's becoming more and more, and they start to prefer more and more content that is considered to be structured data. So this is something that we need to get ready for. The other thing that they're looking for, search engines also, is to make sure the content is helpful, the content is real, informative, and also that there are signals that indicate that this content is authentic and that someone with authority presented it and wrote it, because there's a lot of competition about which website would be presented first or not, or which data would be presented first. So the more authoritative your content is considered to be, the higher the chances that you would rank. So this is, again, a very important part of it, and we need to think and this. Having said that, all the old SEO, technical SEO things are still relevant, such as whether your website or content is loading, whether it's readable, whether you have pages with issues. This is all still relevant. It does not change, and it needs to be addressed. Crawling, indexing, and all of this data is still relevant and determines your ranking to a large extent. Yeah, and the meta tag optimization is still considered to be a very critical part of how both search engines and AI chats rank, understand content. And it's just a primary function of how you need to present the data. So just to make a quick summary, you need to optimize your meta tags for user search intent to be relevant to the web page content in a way that the search engines can read the text of the page and then correlate the tags, structured data. It all needs to consolidate into one coherent set of data that when either the AI chat or the search engine reads it, It understands the relativeness and can present the data. You need to create content or have content that is relevant with value. Of course, you can't always do that, and certainly you can't do it very easily with all the pages, but when you do create content, it needs to be like this. And of course, adding structured schema data. Now, I took the liberty to give you an example, just going into ChatGPT and asking questions to see what ChatGPT actually thinks about this. And just very intuitively, we got some answers that actually are the same and correlate one-to-one to what we just described now. Of course, it's doing it not in a presentation format. It's still interesting. So what ChatGPT, after knowing this topic quite extensively, says that they say that you need to write your content in a conversational manner, in a way to answer questions. You need to use structured data to help the search engine and the AI bot to read your data. It was called schema markup. We'll cover this a little bit more in a minute. Of course, you need to update your content that it will be considered to be new content. You need to cite references as much as possible. And of course, to leverage tools as much as So this is just a quick view of what ChatGPT would say. And now we're going to go into a demo. And we're going to show you how we do a lot of these things in an automated way. So the first thing that I would like to show you is that when you go into our application, this is of course a demo on our website. You have functions on the GUI that allows you to see statistical data. For example, you can write service. You can ask to see keywords that start with or contain the word service in them. And we have 38. And then we can see the first 10, the ranking of these keywords in this, like this, just by asking to see the graph. And so this drop here is due to some algorithm changes by Google, and our system recovered from this. But what's interesting is this Bing, Yahoo, you can see Bing data, you can see that we're starting to get higher average. I mean, this is average ranking for these. You can see that it's starting to grow because of the adjustments we did to some conversational pages. So this is just interesting to see. And what we're going to do now, we're going to show how we're dealing with this concept of upgrading and updating existing data with conversational questions, updating the meta tags. So basically, we would go to the pages section here. Pages manage. Yes. And in the filters, we've prepared for you default filters. Yes. Default filters here that allows you to see pages that qualify for conversational questions and those that do not. Yeah. So the first one is that pages that do not qualify. Sorry, these are used and these are not used, as you can see from the mouse, or not used. So if we'll go into the use and we'll ask to see those pages that have conversational question used in the meta tags, you can just see this view here. Yes, and here you have 128. And these are the pages that are currently using the conversational questions. And we'll show you where it's located and how it's being used. And when you go to the metadata section here, you can choose which data to see. Now we have a column selector here. And in the column selector, you can specify which data from the meta tags you want to see in this grid, because there's a lot of data and you need to choose which one to focus on. In this particular case, we're showing the URL, the meta title, meta description, and the conversation question that is associated with this page, and the one that we are displaying here in the grid. So you can see title, meta description, conversational question. Of course, you can ask to see other data, to filter by other parameters, but this is just a convenient way to show the data. So basically, this is the list of pages. And what we're going to do now is just to show you how it's structured. And we can choose one page just as an example. Yeah. So this is a page that we can show. You can see this little blue V means that the conversational question is actually being used in the tags. In the other filter that I mentioned before, there will not be a blue V. It just means there is one or isn't, but it's not being used. Okay, so basically we open the page. We can see how the meta title, meta description was generated, which parts of the page were used in order to create this tag. So in this particular case, we use the keyword, an H1, business name, and a placeholder text. Of course, the fact that we have a rule doesn't mean that it's a rigid rule. It means we still make some analysis of the page and we decide based on many, many parameters. We analyze this via AI and then we decide how to structure. This is the first one. Second thing you can see here in the description that you have the conversational question here. Yeah, so you see the conversational question is integrated into the description here. And you can also see that the component of the conversational question is appearing here in the tag. You can always choose which component you want to add. One of them is, of course, conversational question. In this particular case, it's already been added. You can also choose other conversational questions that maybe you like more than the one we're currently using automatically. Of course, the one we're currently using is the best score for this page, but sometimes you would like to see some adjustments. So it's very easy just to go in and select a different one if you want, and then just press apply. You can just do this by selecting a different one and applying it. In any case, this is what has been generated for this page. And you can also see it here. Now, when you're talking about conversational questions, it can either appear in the title or it can appear in the description, because this is what's actually appearing in search result, this snippet here. And the more whatever you want to emphasize appears at the beginning, the better it is for search engines, AI chat, and for users when they see the result in the list of results. So we decided, and this is our recommendation, by default, we add a conversational question to the description at this time. Unless it coincides and fits the title, then we automatically use that instead. But just as an example, here's a conversational question. It's being added automatically by the system. We can also look at the statistical data of performance by going to the page search engine snippet. And we can see all the data of ranking that was recorded over time by Google and what Google saw when this page was ranked. So we're just going to show this for you now. And if we go here, we will be able to see each time that a certain keyword was searched for. This is the title and this is the description that was actually appearing. Whenever this keyword was searched, these are the results that appeared. And we can also search by what, which is it changes all the time because Google changes the ranking of keywords and positions based on the query that is being asked and based on other parameters. So it actually took a conversational question and it presented it inside the title, the description, when this query was submitted. So it is working, of course, for various queries, for various questions, but it is working and it is appearing based on the conversational question that we actually provided. So this is just an example. So this is how it works. And of course, you can do the same across multiple pages or multiple sections of the website. We go to settings. Yes, and in the settings, we can show how it's being applied to a section or a part of the website. Yes, so by selecting a certain group of pages or applying it to all pages, you can add a conversational question element, and you can decide where you want to position it, and you just add the component from this part here, and this is how you construct the structure. Now, the reason we're doing it by telling the settings how to structure it is because in many cases, websites are structured differently. So you have the flexibility to decide which component you want to add, whether it's an H1, H2. Sometimes websites are lacking on headers, so we have the ability to configure and to adjust. But it's a very simple process. Once you reach the structure, then it will do it automatically. And then, of course, we can decide to do sub-rules under the primary rules in which we decide to put a conversational question or not, or to put certain data or not automatically. So here we had a slightly different format for this section that includes the word best. So, and then you just press enter and it will process the entire website and apply those changes throughout thousands of pages automatically. We have very granular capability to make change very quickly and to all pages that are relevant. The second thing that we discussed, we're kind of working on it, is the structured data. Structured data, as we explained before, is something that is becoming more and more important. And I'd like to show you some examples of how it works. So we're just going to take an example of a page, and we're going to discuss the structured data, and then we'll discuss how it works and what needs to be. So if we look at this page, this one, we're going to launch it, just so that you see what it is. So this is a page we created on our website, how to rank, mastering SEO trends. And in our application, you have the ability to look at the structured data of this particular page. We have analyzed. So when you open the analyze page, you will see various analyzers. Speed is one of them. Rich result, this is Google's rich result test, and a schema markup. So it will press the schema markup, which is a more comprehensive analysis than what Google does, because Google only is concerned only with various parts of the schema, not everything, but the schema markup kind of analyzes everything. We'll take a look here. And we will see that there is no schema markup for steps, frequently asked questions, etc. However, the page obviously qualifies for it, as we have seen here. The page talks about how to master and how to create, etc. Yes, trends step by step, how to do things. So the page certainly qualifies for it, but it's not tagged as a schema at the moment. So the search engine or the chat might reference it, but it will do it with more cautious and less frequency. So if we go back to this page, we can see that at the bottom, there's step. And there is also a FAQ at the bottom. So there are steps and a FAQ. We're just going to focus on the FAQ section here. So I'm just going to copy this frequently asked section. I'm just going to copy it. And then we're going to share with you a prompt that we have that will enable you to create this very easily. You can share this prompt also. And there's various ways to do it. This is our prompt, and it's provided for free, of course. It has various modes. Let's just say hello. It will tell you what it needs, but in general, you can also give it immediately. Yes, so it's asking whether you want me to analyze the URL or you want me to create the specific based on the FAQ itself. So I can just paste the URL, or I can say, generate FAQ email for what I copied from the other one, from the questions I copied from the page, and just press submit. And it just creates this script, which it basically correlates to the frequently asked questions that are already on this page. So we're not adding content, we're just tagging the existing content in our data. Just going to copy this now. And now we will go to the page itself. Of course, we're using WordPress, but it's the same for any editor. And now we'll just ask to edit this page. And just go to the bottom part. We add another component, and that is now code. And we paste that script here. You must ensure that you have a script, an opening script and a closing script. Otherwise, it will not function. And we need to update. So basically, this is not visible to users in the page. And once it's been uploaded, we can go and retest this page again. Yeah. So we just ran a new test, and you can see here a fact schema was added. And this is the way it should be done. There is no errors. Basically, it takes the questions and the data, and it turns it into structured data, which says what's the question, what's the answer, what kind of a schema it is, etc. And this way, you have a much higher chance of ranking in rich snippet results, meaning when someone asks a specific question, how do I build backlinks effectively, for example, then the chances for this one to rank and to appear in rich results is by far greater, and also to appear in AI chats results is by far bigger. So this is basically what needs to be done. This is what we're actually showing you, how to create such structured data. At the moment, we don't do this automatically, but this is a planned product that we are in the process of developing. And we do think that it's very relevant and very important, in addition to other products that we are kind of working on at the moment. These are the things that needs to be done short term in order to rank on these platforms. Yeah, so this is kind of the end of the demo, and we are open for questions or for any other issues that you would like to discuss. So let's maybe move to the questions. Yeah, so please feel free to raise your hand and ask questions, or we can just go through the list. So let's just answer question by question. Google de-indexing a lot of websites. Why? It's a good question. They've introduced a lot of new algorithms. We can go one by one into these algorithms. Each one has a different objective. One of those objectives is to remove websites that have spammy content or that violate rules somehow, or that their content is not very good, or that their indexing is lacking. We can have a session on this topic. Actually, it's not a bad topic, and we can cover many, many different types of reasons and how to fix them. But the recent changes that were introduced was to try to identify spammy, what they call spammy, non-useful content. And one of the main things to remember is that when you add pages, do not programmatically generate them without actually reading every page, ensuring that it has value. I think if you do, then you will not be. Will this be available to watch again? Yes, of course, we will send this. I did a Google search for what automatic SEO software, and I don't see Nitro, neither in there. Yes, it might be changing from one search, one chat to another. There is another thing to remember, that it takes time. ChatGPT is trained on data from up to June 2024, and it works in two modes. One mode is queries its database that was trained before 2024, and the other one that it searches the web for data. So first of all, you need to know how you search for it, whether you are in a surfing mode. Somehow it's not always searching in the surfing mode, and you need to activate this depending on your account and depending on how you search or how you ask for this. See the next one. In case of WordPress website, which already has rank map. So most of these plugins like Yoast, Rank Map, they're an all-in-one SEO plugin, and they have their benefits for different usages, such as sitemap creation and other functions. Some of them do have a limited schema capability, but from our testing, the schema quality is very basic. For example, you can tag a blog as an article, but they cannot, or they do not tag more granularly, like frequently asked questions or other types of real valuable data. So some of the things they have is valuable, some of the things less. With regards to meta tag optimization, And certainly to what we are showing you here, AI conversational optimization, none of them is capable or doing that. In fact, none of them is analyzing the keywords and using the keywords as an entity across your website. And this is basically the most important thing, to understand how a specific keyword is performing in your website, to be able to decide where to promote this. Most of them have the ability to add what they call the focus keyword, but it's done manually, statically, when you add the content. Our system is totally dynamic. You don't need to add the keywords when you create the content necessarily. Of course you can, but you don't have to. And it does it automatically across all pages. So it's a much more powerful solution for meta tag optimization. So as far as optimizing your meta tags and in the future schema and other functionality, I do not think that it's comparable in quality or in the amount of effort that you need to do. So that's my recommendation. Someone asks that it is very tedious to do it manually. Of course it is. This is why we developed Nitro, to be able to do it much more effectively. We aim to automate, yes. What does Google consider spammy content? Spammy content is content that basically talks about a topic but doesn't do it very intelligently. And you can very easily identify them. I mean, there was a time that everyone used to write content in some kind of an auto content generator. And it's very easy to see, both in terms of layout and both in terms of terms, elevate, empower. There is a lot of terminology that is used frequently, the structure, summary, all sorts of things like that that Google tries to understand. Now, they're not against content that is generated with AI. Of course, everyone uses these tools, but I think they are against mass generation of content that is not useful. So I think that's really the definition of spammy in this respect. But there is a lot of parameters, I'm sure, that they take into account that might affect this. Is there any plugin to script to integrate with the website? Yes, Nitro integrates to the website with a small JS snippet, just like you add Google Analytics, and it's very easy. And you see it from the dashboard, actually. You can test this and you can see this. We have a lot of data about how to do it. There is the only problem is Google algorithm. Yes, it's a problem, but it's also their attempt to deal with a lot of spammy content, people just writing content to rank and not to add value to people. And this is why they try to fight this. Find searching mode on ChatGPT. Yes, let me show you. Yeah, it usually appears here at the bottom. Yeah, you see here, this one? Search. So if you don't necessarily ask to search, it might not search for references on the web. It will use its database of LLMs that it's trained on, and it might not contain recent searches. So you see now, it gives you, once I press it, it gives you the options here. And most people, they don't press on it intuitively. They just say, hey, they think that it actually searches, but it does not necessarily search the web. I assume that at some point they will issue an update of the data they trained on. I'm sure there's a lot of things happening there, but in general, they have a time lag of about a year with the data they train on. So this is just an example. I hope you can see what I just displayed on the screen. Let's just continue. I tested the FAQ and generated the code. I use rank map where I passed the generated code. Yeah, this is exactly what we showed before. It's not related to rank map. It's related to your CMS. And just like I displayed before, you need to add a code element at the bottom or at the top, usually at the bottom of your web page with this schema snippet. No, it doesn't do it by default. I think we kind of covered most questions, at least that's what I see. And we have one question to answer now. Yes, Shafiq. Okay, I'll enable you to speak and then you can ask your questions. Yes, Shafiq.
Yeah, so actually, I'm running a digital marketing agency. We are doing many website SEO on daily basis. So we have a team of SEO experts, and we are observing from past few months a lot of behavior changes in the Google searches and everything. But
I think you said that you have different websites, but you see the same behavior on all these websites. Well, can you just clarify?
yeah, having multiple websites but different behavior from Google side. While having the same people doing the SEO for all the websites.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to take a look specifically. Maybe you can contact us later, and we'll be happy to take a look because it's quite difficult to comment. But there are a few things I can say. First of all, whether these websites are hosted on the same hosting servers. Sometimes Google is able to associate hosting and IPs and kind of consider them as linked. So that could be a reason why you are seeing some behavior on certain websites and not on others. I don't know if it's the case or not, whether you're hosting them on your own hosting plan or it's distributed, but that could be a reason. The other reason is that simply both Google and AI chats, they're revising their rankings all the time because now it's becoming more competitive, and suddenly other websites that are doing more and more effectively are just ranking better. They just have better content. That could also affect this. And it also can be the result of what was previously considered AI-generated content, and now it's considered to be spammy content. So they might not de-index you, but they might de-rank you. So these could be the reasons for this behavior.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. We are also considering like some other factor in front of us, like the same, all the team is working with same IP. And most of the website having same hosting server.
Yeah.
These could be the reasons. So
yeah,
sure,
it could be the
I will
reason.
contact you later.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, of course, of course. Good. So let's see, guys, did we miss any question? Is there anything else we can answer? It is still understandable, and we'll certainly send a follow-up of the video after the call. And thanks again, and looking forward to seeing you next time. And please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.